Hello everyone, this is Crode giving you a shoutcast and game 4 in a series between Happy and Nerchio here on Metalopolis. Here we have Happy spawning as the yellow Terran player at what I'll call the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Nerchio spawning here as the red Zerg. So this is going to be Zerg versus Terran here on Metalopolis and far spawns. So Nerchio should be able to establish his natural expansion very easily and perhaps even take a third base. Now, based upon this, and trying to close in this distance, Happy can either respond with a fast expansion of his own or try to train up a lot of Marines and Marauders and make the long trek across, but I believe this is going to turn more into a macro game just because of the walking distance between these two bases is so large. Now, the centers of... Okay, apparently people like to honk when they're outside my house, and the honk isn't even for me. Anyway, the centers of Naga Watchtowers are going to become very important as they reveal the two major walkways in between these two bases. In between these two bases, and by controlling these Naga Watchtowers with one or two Zerglings, it reveals a really large portion of the map, and a Zerg player controlling these Naga Watchtowers are able to gain sight and perhaps be able to intercept any drops as well with the additional help of Overlords. So that's one of the reasons why dropship play is kind of risky as a Terran player. And back here, you already see Nerchio currently setting up his natural expansion. We're going for that 14 build. Meanwhile, Happy will be training up a Marine in just a moment and also building off of one refinery. He should be upgrading to an orbital command just now and training up that Marine. Another supply depot needs to be built in just a second as well in order to finish off this wall. And as a drone, gonna make it up the ramp, and that's gonna be a problem. The drone realizes and sees where his opponent is, and now Happy trying to chase down with that Marine not going to be able to catch up, as this Overlord perhaps going to position itself over here or even over here to try to gain sight and see when that natural expansion will be established. We already have a spawning pool coming into play, the extractor about to come into play as well. Nerchio perhaps going to try to play a more macro style, should train up a couple queens. Now, I don't... Is that a factory? Yes, there is a factory now coming into play in addition to a bunker. So an offensive bunkering now over here. That one SCV has taken some damage, and now the Marine trying to fight back against those drones, but that is never a very, very nice situation, as those drones are able to get a lot, or able to move significantly faster, and now you can see the Marine trying to run up that ramp and get more damage onto some of those units. There is one drone down over here, and now trying to get some damage onto that one drone. Drone already down to 17, 11 hit points, and is it going to get taken down? Yes, it is taken down, and now one Marine trying to finish off some of those Zerglings will not be able to do so, and this bunker will easily be destroyed. Or at least canceled. Come on, cancel. There it goes. Canceled at 78 hit points. We are now going into that standard Hellion play that Happy has continuously used throughout this matchup. And I believe Nerchio will be able to more than respond to that Hellion play. All he needs to do is perhaps position a key technical building over here on this side of the map, making it so that Hellions can't run along the backside, or perhaps even position a queen over there, and then getting those Hellions stuck. Double Hellions currently being trained. Roaches will be coming out in just a moment. Happy has not really changed up his strategy, and Nerchio has been able to counter it pretty well so far in the past couple of games. So we'll see if he's able to continue to counter it, as well as what one Zerg quickly going to get destroyed by two Hellions. Down it goes, able to get some damage onto a reactor, but that doesn't really matter much. Hellions now cleaning up the rest of those Zerglings, and now on the move further. We are going to have one Spinecrawler and one Queen in order to try to protect against that Hellion harassment. Two more Hellions already on the way, as we are now swapping perhaps into another barracks. Yeah, so it is going to be Marine with stim pack upgrades, and now also siege tanks by the look of Happy trying to establish a tech lab onto that factory over there. We are getting the Spinecrawler and a couple Roaches now ready, one Roach along that backside, making sure that the units cannot really slip by there. And now that Roach needs to be careful. It needs to hold position in that location. It's currently just stopped. It would chase after some of those Roaches, but I guess the Roach wants to not be in hold position, otherwise the range of 5 Hellions will be able to just sit there and rain fiery damage onto that Roach, even though it doesn't deal bonus damage. The Roach cannot sit in the fire and flames for that long. Nerchio needs to figure out what he wants to do next. His opponent has already established, Happy has already established an expansion of his own down over here, so Happy is going to be able to catch up in the economic play. Taking a look at the Harvester count, 38 compared to 27, that Harvester difference is going to be quickly closed, as Happy now going to get a second mule into play, and also an additional command center to call down mules and train up SCVs, the second command or second orbital command. Sorry about that. Zergling now running down the ramp over here, just overlords in position, and both sides just sitting back and perhaps waiting to press a little bit of damage. Nerchio's style currently more reminds me of Idra than some of the other Zerg players out there. He's currently just trying to win the battle by sheer macro. He's sitting on 2-base play. He does have a decent amount of map presence, overlords all across the map. He knows that his opponent doesn't have any Vikings or medevacs just quite yet, otherwise his overlords would be hunted, as the Zerglings are on the march and on the move for more and more Hellions. 2 Hellions now trying to run away, but gonna quickly pinched over there in the corner. 4 Hellions and 3 Roaches with Zerglings as support, and it looks like more Zerglings are getting toasted, and it looks like the Roaches are going to be able to sneak by, but 1 Hellion, another Hellion getting destroyed there. More Hellions still getting destroyed, as a drone now makes its way over here to the 10 o'clock position in order to establish that expansion location. The Hellions are going to be able to scout out this expansion very, very easily, and we'll see what Happy tries to respond with that. That expansion has been established. He knows that it's there, but he's not going to have a large enough army to really stop it anytime soon. 51 drones compared to 40 SCVs. An additional command center needs to be built here as well, but Happy only running off of 2 gas so far, so his tech army is going to be significantly weaker. He's going to have to try to just win off of Marines, and this is one of the things that I'm kind of curious about by Nerchio. Nerchio has yet to use any Banelings in any of his matchups, especially when his opponent has gone very heavy light infantry. Whenever your opponent is going that heavy light infantry, you at least want to get a couple of Banelings nest. Banelings are relatively inexpensive, and they can do a lot of damage if prompted correctly. Roach is now trying to just scurry away, as this expansion most likely will get destroyed in just mere moments, but it will at least buy Nerchio time to respond and to react to that siege tank and marine line that's currently trying to come in. No medevac as of yet, as the siege tank's gonna start sieging up here. 1 siege tank up on that high ground, 2 on the low ground. A decent amount of distance between each of these 2 locations, as this one spying crawler going to take a fair amount of damage. That Queen now trying to come in. Marines and Roach is continuing to battle it out. Roach is now trying to snipe down. Gonna get a lot of damage onto that siege tank here. A Queen also absorbing a lot of damage. 1 siege tank has been destroyed, as the resources lost is about the same now. No, Nerchio now losing a total 100 resources more. Medevac needs to be added to this army, as Happy now has Marines in a bunker and siege tanks over here. Is he going to salvage it? Doesn't look like it. Happy realizes that he cannot push with the army that he has, as it's not nearly strong enough. Sitting at 1400 mineral army versus an 1800, both players sitting on 500 gas, as the Marines have just cleared out and done a lot of damage so far. 1 overlord now desperately trying to fly away, able to do so. Marines are now still 0-0 upgraded at this time. Production wise, 12 more Zerglings, 1 medevac, 1 siege tank, and 5 Marines. So that is a very large amount of production, as we are now going into triple hatchery. So Nerchio doing a very gutsy move, expanding into 2 locations at once. 1 expansion down over here, 1 expansion over here. One of the benefits of Zerg is that their hatchery is the cheapest building to create out of the Nexus and Command Center hatchery trifecta. by having his opponent at least scanner sweep this location here, which is also being expanded as well. He may not think to look for an expansion here, or especially not here. And if he doesn't establish this expansion or deny this expansion, Nerchio is going to get a very strong economy off of minerals that would normally, I would say, belong to Happy, since it is on the bottom side of that map. Marines and siege tanks still making their way forward. Siege tank is going to offer a little bit of cover to fire as drones now make their way. A lot of siege tanks up against the ridge, up against that ledge. And now the Zerglings are trying to, I guess, swarm in from that backside. Marines now coming as well. At Queen is very, very low on hit points, taking a shelling from those siege tanks as this hatchery is going to get sniped down. So one hatchery already going to get destroyed. We are now going into tier 3 as the Zerglings and Roaches now pour in from this location here, doing a decent surround. Infestors just getting destroyed, but some fungal growth damage was dealt. There are a lot of Marines over here, and now Broodlings coming out to finish off the rest of those Marines, and now trying to jump into that medevac. The medevac is in the air now, as we are now teching into tier 3. Spire already about 3/4 of the way completed, as this expansion is now going to be exposed. The Zerglings perhaps should not try to abandon it here, as Happy does have 3 Marines, so now Zerglings going to swarm in along this side, and Happy realizes how far behind he currently is. Those Marines not going to be able to deal that much damage at all. He sees 3 bases, doesn't know that his opponent is currently really running off of 5 bases, and as soon as drones get transferred over here, he's going to have such a stronger economy that it's not even really going to be fair. Another command center training up more SCVs needs to be lifted off and established here. The problem is, as soon as this expansion is established here, Nerchio cannot easily defend this expansion, as the units will essentially only be a hop, skip, and a jump away. Zerglings desperately trying to get more damage onto that medevac. Medevac able to fly away once more. Zerglings now going to run up that ramp and get even more damage onto those Marines. Roaches coming in and starting to melt with that acid saliva. Going to finish off this drop. There is now 1 medevac in the air, but no fungal growth and no infested Marines in order to shoot that down. Happy establishing what soon to be a planetary fortress here, also getting some additional supply depots as well, in order to make sure that it's very difficult to try to surround this command center. By ensuring that a command center is difficult to surround, it makes it even easier to defend against Zerglings, as Zerglings need to get through supply depots in order to start clawing away at this army. We are going to get a decent number of Marines and tanks now make their way up. Not too many drones here, just a skeleton crew, and getting about, no, doesn't even get 300 minerals off of this mineral patch, but it is buying time for Nerchio to at least mine off of this base here. Happy now knows about this expansion. He still doesn't know about this expansion though, so it is still 4 base play versus 3, as the command center about to be, a command center about to be upgraded into an orbital command, and this game continues. Broodlords are now hatched by Nerchio, and 5 Broodlords are out. 5 Broodlords and no counter Vikings, so that is going to be key as well. With no counter Vikings, those Broodlords are going to be able to get a lot of damage in. Broodlords, however, move relatively slowly. Same movement speed as a carrier, obviously a slight less expensive than a carrier, but still that is a lot of damage to be had. Zerglings are now over here. The Ghost may try to start using some snipe, as well as the Broodling now just continue to push and funnel in to see what the Ghosts do have. Some energy for EMP Shockwave, as both sides are not going to battle it out. Fungal growth hitting off a lot of those front units there, as is that mass snipe? I believe it was mass snipe, but not that much damage was dealt, as both sides are just trying to be very careful. That EMP Shockwave hitting one of those infestors. The Broodlords in the front continuing to rain more and more damage, and now coming in from the back, the Roaches and infestors just doing a great job. Infested Terrans now spawning, as well as the Roaches are just slowly pushing their way through. So much damage is being dealt across the board. Those mass ghost play by Happy, but Happy not satisfied with the results there, as those ghosts are now just going to get more damage onto these infestors even further. There are some medevacs here, but the ghosts are really winning out this battle with a lot of snipes, getting a lot of damage in, and nicely done by Happy. The ghost dealing 22 damage per attack. and also using that sniper round for 45 damage. Zerglings now trying to swarm in. SCV's now coming in as well. That bunker looks like it will get destroyed with relative ease. And now with so many roaches fighting off against and so many ghosts, unless those ghosts have a fair amount of energy, that's going to be very, very difficult. Zerglings now swarming in once more. SCV's on hold position as Happy continues to blast away. Production-wise, Broodlords and Zerglings still being added to this army, and more damage is being dealt across the board. There is now 3 Broodlords ready to go, or will be ready to go after about another, 25 seconds. And if those Broodlords are able to engage without having to worry about Vikings, that is going to severely, severely hurt Happy. Happy needs to use those ghosts. The sniper round only deals 45 damage, even though the ghost does have 1-0 upgrades. It is one of the abilities that do not scale with your weapon, unlike say a Baneling that does 85 damage to buildings after it has that 1-0 upgrade. Ghost is just laying in wait, getting ready for what will soon be another attack, another command center upgrading to a planetary fortress down over here. Zerglings are just able to swarm and get in a lot of damage onto any scouting SCV. Down goes another Marine here, as the unit's now trying to come in, and now in comes a drop by Happy. Happy dropping 1-0 upgraded Marines, no 2-2 upgrades or level 2 weapons upgrade at all, as some of those Marines seem to be on hiatus, not doing very much at all over here. You can see that the Zerglings are going to try to swarm in, but they are just going to fall very quickly towards those Marines. Zerglings, however, are going to start to swarm and surround and pick off the last of those Marines in just a moment, and down it goes. Happy transitioning a lot of SCVs over from his main base, transferring 15 SCVs, 1 SCV on idle just because it has no minerals to mine over here either. And now Happy has to be pretty comfortable with where he's at. He's at, 1900 minerals and 600 gas. Production wise though, we are getting more corruptors, level 2 weapons up, or level 3 weapons upgrade, level 1 flyer carapace upgrades. So those Mutalisks and Broodlords are going to have much more armor, as the 9 Broodlords are on the move, and 9 Broodlords deal a large amount of damage very, very efficiently as they drop those Broodlings. The Broodlords now just continue to make their way across the map. 1 SCV just getting picked apart there, as the Broodlords are already upgraded to 1-1, now dealing 22 damage per attack. The 1 planetary fortress trying to fight off and stop those Broodlings. It's going to get a lot of kills, but it's not going to be able to stop very much as the main battle happening over here. Broodlords and Broodlings dropping. There is a massive amount of snipe going on. Fungal growth hitting, no fungal growth hitting any of those units, as the Broodlords are just raining down Broodlings onto these units here. So many snipes and still such a large Zerg army. Command center has been destroyed, and now Nerchio can perhaps just sit back and relax just a little bit, knowing that he has the superior army by about 3,000 minerals, or 3,300 minerals at this stage. Marines and Marauders are both continuing to battle it out. The medevac's not trying to turn around. There are still some corruptors in the air. Roaches continue to make their way in. 1 siege tank has been destroyed, and now those Broodlords are just able to just rain down so much damage so easily. Marines now coming in, going after a low hit point Broodlord. 2 Broodlords now down, and it looks like the 3rd one will go down there as the Marines are finally being forced to turn around. Roaches are now battling out over here as the Zerglings now swarming the natural expansion of Happy. And I'm ready to call this. Nerchio, yeah, Happy says GG. So Nerchio, who was originally down 0-2, now evens up the score. Stay tuned for Game 5 in this Best of 5 series between Happy and Nerchio here on Shattered, not on Shattered Temple, here on Metalopolis.